Hey guys, it's Rich with your Thursday spot in Pagan Perspectives. This week we are talking about racism and sexism in paganism. Since I'm not really involved in the pagan community as much as everybody else is on the channel, I wanted to give more of an everyday view rather than basically just in paganism, even though the actual question was in paganism. How can we stop it? How do we acknowledge certain things that go on as far as racism and sexism? And I've watched everybody else's video. Annie did a great job. Cara did basically 2 videos on racism and bigotry within paganism. Eric did a great job on his heathenistic views, but since I'm more, into the, just everyday aspect, out there in the everyday world, not that they aren't, because they are, but since I'm more out with, everyday people that don't believe in paganism, and I hope they don't take offense to that. I don't know any other way to say it, and I hope they understand what I'm trying to say. But that I'm not in a pagan community as much as I once was. Especially when I was in Wichita, I had pagan friends and everything, and we got along just fine. And there was very little bigotry towards one race or one sex or anything like that. So, excuse me, I have a little bit of a sniffle, and it's one of those involuntary things. What was I going to say? Oh, so what I basically wanted to do is cover the everyday aspect of racism and sexism, in the workplace. The military is a big melting pot of all kinds of different cultures and aspects, different, both sexes, religion, all the religions, everything's all just melted into one big pot that you call your work center. Now, from what I have seen in the military so far, and I'm just going to take it just like this, I'm going to just tell you how it is. There is a lot of racism and sexism. But usually, it's not so much a condescending thing, or it's not a way of one person trying to be better than another. It's basically used as a joke, or a little quip here and there. But I will say that in the military alone, if you have a problem with something like that, if you don't want to have jokes like that made in your presence, and first off, we'll ask you straight up whenever you first get into the shop, we'll ask you, do you mind if we make little racial comments here and there? Not that we're being mean, but it makes everybody laugh a little bit. It makes our day go faster. We don't have to worry about, about what else is going on in life, put it that way. And even jokes on religion, such as I had one of my best friends that I was on honor guard with for, I think we were on honor guard for 2 years together, and he was Jewish, and he had an underlining rule. He says, you can make all the Jewish jokes that you want except Holocaust jokes. He says, I don't like them. I don't think they're good jokes or anything like that. He says, but as long as if you keep it away from the Holocaust, I'm fine with you making any jokes on it. And we'd call them cheap. We'd say, hey, here's $1, go chase it, or something like that. We made fun of it. But whenever it really came down to it, we knew that you don't say that whenever somebody outside of our group... Shh. I'm taking care of my mother's dog for now. You don't say anything like that outside of the group with people that you don't know how they'll take that. You know what I'm saying? So, with racism, it's basically if you want to make a joke or something about it, it's basically have that underlining, I mean no offense to you or your race or where you come from, but it's going to make my day go quicker. We're going to have a few laughs. We're going to be buddies about it. But if you don't want me to make that joke, I will never make that joke about you. And it's the same thing with sexism. You know, every once in a while, I'm a maintainer. Every once in a while, we'll get a female into our shop. And, you know, whenever you're a female in a maintenance setting, it's kind of harder to adapt already. But, you know, whenever you're in that environment, certain jokes will be made that would make a woman feel uncomfortable. Excuse me. And if she really feels that way while she's in this work center, nobody will make those jokes. And as for, you know, how we get rid of it as a society or as human beings, and he brought up a good point of just speak up. Your silence will, you know, make it continue. And I cannot agree more. Any great video on that. Your silence will speak volumes as to your willingness to let it continue. And as long as if you speak up and let people know that it makes you uncomfortable, that is the first step to making it go away. As far as in my everyday life, like, you know, in the shop and everything, and my work center, if you have something against what we're saying and you work with us on an everyday basis, and if you don't work with us on an everyday basis, you usually won't hear anything like that. But if you work with us on an everyday basis and you hear something like that that really makes you uncomfortable, you say something, we will stop and not have a problem with it whatsoever. Matter of fact, I went to my new shop and one guy has pretty strong Christian views. I don't know this guy very well. Like I said, I was only in there a day, and I just got here, so I don't really know him that well. But he has a problem with people taking God's name in vain, which I have no problem with because I'm the same way. I think that if you're calling on a higher power, then that's one thing. If you're taking his name or her name in vain, that's a completely different thing. That's a little bit more serious, because that's disrespectful. So I totally respect that, and I won't do it in front of him. Even though I won't do it, you know, in my daily life, I won't do it in front of him, especially him. So he also has a problem with swearing. People, you know, swear a lot. He doesn't like that, so I cut back on my swearing. I watch what I say around this person, you know. So yes, racism is an ugly thing. Sexism is an ugly thing. Can we control it? Can we totally eradicate it? I don't think we can totally eradicate it, but I think we can tone it down and speak up against people that actually have a hatred for one another, based on their sex, their religion, their you know, ethnical origin. Yes, we can get rid of it by speaking up. So I think I've rambled on long enough. So I think that's about it. Is it bad? Yes. Is it able to be completely done away with? Yes. Again, on a more personal note, I got my house about a week ago. Matter of fact, a week ago today. Yeah. and I'm just moving in, and I'll be going to work next week. I only went into work one day and got more time off, so I guess I'll talk to you guys later. Keep looking on my personal channel. Hopefully soon, once I get everything straightened out in my new house, I will be giving tours of my house. So until next time, well, first off, I want to say I hope this has been helpful, but until next time, may your ancestors be with you.